In this video, I'm going to do a little walk down memory lane and open up a box of 1991 FLEER. I was 13 years old when that box came out, and I loved opening up the packs to get those black bordered Provision cards. Let's take this walk together and see what we get. Hey everybody, thanks for joining me on my channel, Brutus on Baseball. Today's video, I am going to be opening up an old box of 1991 FLEER baseball. This is a very nostalgic set of baseball cards for a lot of people that grew up around that time frame. One of the ugliest sets of all time, this bright neon yellow border. But there's something about opening it up that brings back a lot of memories. There's not a whole lot of great stuff in this box, so I'm going to try to find the good stuff and really condense that down to a short video. So without wasting any more time, let's get started. Okay. All right, one at a time. We'll open up these wax packs. Be able to see what we get here. They each had, oh, there we go, right off the bat. So we're going to set that one aside. That one is a Provision pack. And we'll see if we can actually see more Provisions in here or not. So that's not a Provision pack. So there we go. We just get the stickers out of them. And we'll take a quick look through and just see if we see anybody that's worthwhile. Ozzie Smith, but it's got a pretty big print line, 2 of them right there. So not worth looking at. Bobby Bonilla, Barry Larkin off center. We interrupt this broadcast to bring you a special bulletin. A bulletin that is slightly less tiresome than watching some dude you don't know opening 36 straight packs of 1991 FLEER baseball cards. While this chump opens the packs, I'll be entertaining you by telling cheesy baseball jokes. Like, which superhero is the best in baseball? Batman. Why does it take longer to run from second to third base than it does to run from first to second base? Because when you run from second to third base, there's always a short stop in the middle. Why was Cinderella taken out of the game? Because she kept running away from the ball. Did you hear the joke about fly balls? Don't worry about it. It's way over your head anyway. What do you call a monkey that wins the World Series? A chimpion, of course. And my personal favorite, what do you call 30 millionaires sitting around watching the World Series? The New York Yankees. Okay, and just like that, I've gone through an entire box of 1991 ugly yellow FLEER, just so you don't have to. Like I said, most of it was just useless stuff. I put aside one pack that I got just to be able to show you what I'm talking about a little bit. And this one, you know, I got a couple Hall of Famers, which is great. But as you go through it, you know, Paul Molitor, you can see that he's pretty off center, left to right. So what's the point? A good example of this, Rick Parker, just how off, you know, how cut off it is at the top. A lot of space on the bottom, not even cut straight. Robin Yount, another Hall of Famer in the same pack, but off center, left to right. And I think there's one more, Tom Glavine. Again, off center, left to right. So even if you're going to look for Hall of Famers in these that are in really great condition, 9 times out of 10, you're not going to find them. So it's really not worth it. Another one that I set aside just to show was this Andre Dawson. Again, another Hall of Famer. So just cut off from the top to bottom. You can barely see any border at the top and lots of border at the bottom. So just a useless card. The only 2 Hall of Famers that I did find in the entire box that were worth saving, Greg Maddux, Larry Walker, both pretty good centering. So I'll just kind of hang on to them. And so what I did do is I went through and I just opened up each pack and took a look at the side. And these are the ones that I set aside to open up with you. So these will have the 1991 Provision cards, which were one of my absolute favorite sets from when I was a kid. I used to love to look around for these and just look at the pictures of them. They're just amazing. So we'll see what we get. I've just opened them to see that there is a Provision card in there, but I haven't looked and seen what the rest of the pack has or what the condition of the Provision card is. But if we can find some in good condition, Definitely worthwhile. It's actually a set that I would love to collect all in PSA 10, but it's so hard to come by. They're so expensive that this might actually be the better way to go. But I wouldn't recommend it because every single pack that I open seems to be off center. They're black borders, so they're really hard to get in good condition without chipping around the edges or corners. And by the end of opening up a box, let alone 2 or 3 or 4 to get complete sets, you're pretty much blinded by all the bright yellowness. So not something I recommend, but I'm going to open up for you and we'll see what we get on these. I also love getting these back in the day because each one had a team sticker, and you'd be able to flip over those team stickers and get some information about the team. So this one's the San Francisco Giants. Flip it over and be able to see who the top in the history for batting average, strikeouts, home runs, wins, all that kind of stuff. So pretty cool stuff. I do have my stack of team cards, so pass this out to the kids and they can learn a little bit more about each of the teams, at least, you know, who the leaders were back in 1991. So let's see how I do here. Looking at the Provision card, I'll just open it right up and see how we did. So Don Mattingly. And at first look, this actually looks to be like a pretty good condition card. Maybe a little bit off center. There's some stuff, just specks, but those all seem to be coming off with just a little bit of rubbing. Maybe that's a print spot. That one's not coming off, but we'll see how this one does. It's a little bit off center, left to right. You know, the edges on the back, you can see it has a little bit of, you know, wear along the bottom edge, but not too bad. It definitely has a little bit of a diamond cut, which just means that it's a little bit crooked the way that the picture is cut. But again, it's good enough that I'll take a look. Move on to the next one, and I can look at them a little bit closer later on and let you know if anything happens with them. So we'll just go through the rest of that pack too real quick. I don't think we'll see anything here. Dave Winfield is a Hall of Famer, but off center and pretty badly cut on the bottom. Dwight Gooden, really off center. And like I said, not really worth anything. But that Provision at least looks pretty nice. So let's see what the next one holds for us. Let's start the back on this one. So like I said, you can just look at the back and see that there's a Provision card just because of the black border. This one actually looks like the whole pack has been bent a little bit. So we'll see how it turns out. I got the Braves team logo. And then the back card. Just pull these out, set them aside. And we're going to have a Darryl Strawberry. All right, so these are actually one of the hardest ones to find in good condition for whatever reason. Just looking through the rest of that pack real quick, see if there's anything. Nope, nothing worth showing. So let's just look at this Darryl Strawberry a little bit closer. I do have one of these microfiber cloths. Just wipe it off. See how many spots there are on it versus what comes off. So it actually, the surface looks pretty good. But again, this one is off center, left to right, and cut a little bit diagonally, the diamond cut. So they're close. At first glance, they're close to being high quality, but as you look a little bit closer, especially with this Darryl Strawberry at the bottom edge, I'm not sure if you guys will be able to see that, but the bottom edge definitely has some white chipping along it. Pretty off center, left to right, you can see on the back. But as it is, each one of these I'll put into a holder, just a penny sleeve for now. And if anything catches my eye later on, I'll measure them. I'll look at them closer under a loop and just kind of see what we're dealing with. So the next pack that we'll open for the Provisions, let's see what we got. Team of 4. And then we're going to jump right to it again. Well, let's just look through these while we got it. So nothing. And then the Provision is a Jose Canseco, but this one is pretty off center. You can see top to bottom, it's pretty bad. So a lot of white specks left on that one. Another Dwight Gooden. That one's actually in fairly decent shape, and I'll just set it aside. Something to possibly keep. Make sure it doesn't go in the kids bin. So this Canseco, pretty off center. Definitely got some spotting on it. That one's more permanent for sure. So not one that I would keep. The kids do love these cards as well. You know, they know these players because they're the best players from that time period. And if ever I get one like this, it's pretty ugly. Diamond cut in the back, really, really bad. Off center in the front. So I just kind of set that one aside for the kids to play with. And it's fun for them. They love being able to see these old cards. I really wish that they would make newer cards that look the same. They stopped doing Provisions quite a while ago. All right, last one. There's one more. Okay, Will Clark on the top. And this one looks okay, but it's off center, top to bottom. It's going to have that diamond cut again. It's pretty ugly. On the back, not great looking on the front. It's too off center, top to bottom. It does have another, it's like a sticky residue left on there. I think that would come off with a little bit of wiping, but the card's just not worth saving. There's definitely a corner too. When the Provision cards are at the top in the pack, it's more likely that the corners are going to be bent, especially after so long. It's been 30, 31 years, something like that. So definitely some corners bent in the back, so that'll go in the kids' pile as well. And let's see what we get in this last one. Usually you only get 4 Provisions per box, but depending on kind of where it falls, this was the first pack that I opened actually that had a Provision, and the rest were near the bottom. So I was lucky enough to get 5 packs in this one. Sometimes you'll get unlucky and only get 3 in other boxes, but this one I got 5. So, and it's an Eric Davis. It actually looks pretty decent on the back, pretty well centered. The bottom edge, again, has a lot of white showing, but that's pretty typical with these cards. And the front looks pretty good too. So this might actually be one of the better ones to come out of the box. We'll see how we turn out. Just looking through these, a little bit off center, not really worth keeping. Griffey and Bonds, that's just a fun card. Definitely one that I'll set aside for the kids, just to be able to see some great players from back in the day. And the rest of it's junk. But this Eric Davis card, you know, at first glance, looks pretty good. Hard to tell on there if some of these are stars or if they're actually flecks or spots that stay. But this, you know, this looks pretty good. So I'll take a better look at it later on. You know, at first blush, it actually looks pretty decent. So put that in a penny sleeve as well. So there you go. Thanks again for joining me just to look at an old box of 1991 FLEER. Like I said, I did it so you don't have to. You can just enjoy it on here. But what I did get out of it, 3 Provision cards that look, you know, halfway decent to pretty decent. Maybe I'll send in one of these, maybe 2 to PSA now that the prices are down, just to see what they get. So not a lot of great stuff coming out of a box like this from back in the day. A lot of yellow garbage, some Hall of Famers, most of them off center or diamond cut. A couple maybe to keep and hold on to, and a couple Provision cards that look somewhat decent to pretty decent, maybe for that Eric Davis. So we'll see with how that looks under a bit more closer look. Thanks again for joining me for this walk down memory lane. I hope you enjoyed it. Check out my other videos as always. Come back often, and whenever I open an old box, I'll put it up here. Until next time, keep talking baseball and take care of yourself.